Alrighty, guys, we're back for Barbed Rakdos, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor standard brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked Rockin' 3 Barbed Servitors. This is a 4-mana 1/1 artifact creature rockin' indestructible. When it enters the battlefield, you suspect it, so it has menace and it can't block. Okay. Now, when it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So potentially a way to keep our hand nice and stocked up, right? But also the main reason it's in here, when Barbed Servitor is dealt damage, target opponent loses that much life. Nice. So of course, what does this remind us of? Ill-Tempered Loner as a 1-of in here. This is a 4-mana 3/3. When it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. Beautiful. Also for 1 in a red, you can buff this by +2/+0 until end of turn. Has that daybound, nightbound thing. So when it's nighttime, and permanent you control is dealt damage, Howlpack Avenger deals that much damage to any target. So it actually pair really nicely with the Barbed Servitor as well, especially if it's nighttime. Why not just 4 Barbed Servitors? Well, every now and then we're going to want to be able to block with our creatures, you know what I mean? Even in a deck that has a ridiculous amount of board wipes, which of course are all going to go a long way, the board wipes specifically that deal damage to everything, because we don't mind dealing damage to our cards, like the Barbed Servitor, right? So like Burn Down the House, of course, all 4 of them. 5 damage to everything is huge, but then also the Devils also help us clean up a lot of games. 3 Brotherhood's End, yep, that's going to do a thing. We also have 3 Vampire's Vengeance in here. This is a 3-mana instant speed, so that's interesting. Deals 2 damage to each non-vampire creature, and then you also get to create a blood token, which in this build could go a long way. We have other ways to get blood tokens in here, like Bloodtithe Harvester, also acting as another piece of removal, right? All 4 of them, I do think it's going to do a thing. We also have all 4 Voldaren Epicures poking the opponent's face, giving us a blood token. Not bad at all. Also, these early creatures are actually able to block as well. That's going to be a good thing because a lot of our creatures can't block. We also have 4 Tangled Colonies in here. Now, this is a 2-mana 3/2 Tangled Colony can't block. Oh boy. Now, when it dies, you create X 1/1 Black Rat creature tokens with this creature can't block, of course, where X is the amount of damage dealt to it this turn. That's actually not half bad, is it? Now, it could be poking a lot of damage through to the opponent's face because it's not necessarily something the opponent wants to trade into, right? Accidentally giving you a couple rats or something could be really bad for them. Now, we also have other ways to go wide outside of Tangled Colony, too, and another reason why the blood tokens are going to come in handy. We have Gleeful Demolition chilling here at the front of the build as a 3-of. It's a 1-mana sorcery speed, destroy target artifact, but if you controlled that artifact, you create 3 1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens. Nice. So, the main goal here, if you guys can't tell, is wipe the board, restock the board. And as you're wiping the board, hopefully you're dealing a bunch of damage to the opponent's face and whatnot, too. Now, since we're going wide, hopefully relatively effectively, we also have City on Fire here on the top end. It's a 8-mana enchantment with Convoke, so our creatures can help cast this spell. Now, it does have 3 red pips up there, so hopefully you have a lot of red mana on the board because like the rat tokens happen to be black rat tokens. Luckily, the goblins are in fact red goblins, though, so those do help you cast the City on Fire with the triple red pips. But honestly, it shouldn't be that bad, and I do think the 2-of is totally going to be worth it. Let's read this. It says, if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage instead. So, in other words, if you have City on Fire, you drop a Burn Down the House, that's hitting all the permanents for 15 damage instead. So if you do end up having like a Barbed Servitor or an Ill-Tempered Loner on the board at that point too, that does require a bit of setup, but man, that is a hefty chunk of damage, huh? Even like Brotherhood's End becomes 9 damage to everything. And at that point too, like City on Fire is any kind of permanent or any source you control, right? It doesn't have to be a red source like Mechanized Warfare is what I was getting at there. So even if you're just swinging with the Barbed Servitor, which that menace will probably come in handy very often. Also, something to note with the Barbed Servitor is it's really not something the opponent wants to block like ever, dude. So you're probably getting the card draw often if you do end up swinging with this. Okay, guys, we have more ways just to deal damage to our own things or potentially just remove big things from the opponent, like a couple Witchstalker Frenzies. We should be able to get this relatively cheap. because we are going wide. So if we are swinging wide enough, it could just be like 1 mana, which could be really good, especially if you're just spending that 1 mana to go ahead and poke the servitor, and then that's just 5 damage to the opponent's face for just 1 mana, right? We have a pylon in here because every now and then we're just going to need to destroy something instead of deal damage to it. And since this also has Convoke and we're going wide, hopefully easily, I think it's going to go a long way. Surveil 2 happens to be really good too. We also have a 1 of Transmogrant Crown. This is a 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever equipped creature dies, you draw a card. Now in a deck like this, where like Bloodtithe Harvester could sacrifice itself to remove something, and then you get a card draw off of that too, that could be really good. But also if you're just like buffing things that the opponent really doesn't want to block, like Tangled Colony or the Barbed Servitor, then that's also really good, you know what I mean? And if you like put that onto a Tangled Colony and you're getting those swings through, and then you end up removing Tangled Colony when you drop a board wipe like Brotherhood's End or something, then you'll still get that card draw, and then you also replenish with a bunch of rats too. So it's actually really cool, man, huh? Something to note as well, you know, with the Epicure and the Harvester, those are not getting picked up by the Vampire's Vengeance, of course, because it does say non-vampire creatures. So that is also really neat. Over in the mana base, guys, a whole bunch of dual land. We do have the Pain lands over here. We have the Blackcleave Cliffs, as well as all 4 of the Haunted Ridge too, and a Restless Vents as well. A couple Crucible of Defiance, just because I think getting more creatures onto the board in this build is going to be particularly good. 25 total land. Hopefully the Legendary doesn't hold us up in this build. Then we also have an Abandoned Mire here, leaning towards the red sources, because that is what the deck is leaning towards over here. Got some honorable mentions to go over. So, Transmogrant Crown is a rare, and we got this new card, Lead Pipe, and it actually reminds me a lot of Transmogrant Crown, and it could be a budget option or a budget replacement for the Crown. Just something to think about. Lead Pipe, kind of cool. Thought about Voltage Surge, of course. I thought about Go for the Throat instead of Pylon. I just actually just really like Pylon, and I think the Convoke makes it just excellent. So, yeah. No Go for the Throat this time, but it totally could be your choice of spot removal instead of the Pylon, so just something to consider. Or maybe we just want more ways to burn. That's a possibility too, huh? Same concept with the Warcrafting, maybe more ways to deal 5 damage to creatures, so yeah, something to think about. I called it Barbed Rakdos, and then I realized we have a brand new Rakdos, but this Rakdos does not fit in this build, at least I don't think it does. Although it's like really solid, so we're going to build around it eventually, so... All right, guys, hopefully that's everything. Enough rambling, huh? Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. Heck yeah, we do. All right, what am I expecting from the build? All right. I might be crazy, but I think it's going to be good, man. I don't know. We got to call it jank, right? But like there's something in my gut that's telling me it's going to be a little bit good. And it might just be like the excessive amount of board wipes. Okay, I think we keep this. This is a solid starting hand, dude. Phoenix check. Okay, well that Brotherhood's End is going to come in handy, huh? Gleeful Demolition. All right, dude, yeah. Get set up. We get an artifact on the board, get the Tangled Colony down. And then we'll have that artifact to restock with some goblins after the Brotherhood's End hits. And then hopefully restocking with the rats on the colony too. Opponent, play a couple more creatures. Come on now. Play a couple more. Oh, crap. Okay, but it'll still probably be worthwhile hitting a Phoenix chick with like their 3-drop whenever that comes time. I think I'm going to start with the swing for no reason in particular here. And then I'll get Tangled Colony down. We could have saved a chump blocker on the ground though. But I want them to flush the creatures out of their hand onto the board. Yeah, I guess they probably still would have done that if I saved Epicure to chump the Godric, right? So that could have been a lot less damage. I'm just so used to swinging. Okay, so we get the swing for 4. Play the mountain, that's totally fine. All right, swing for 4. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually be able to keep up pace quite nicely here. All right, wipe the board. Wipe the board number 1, get triple rats. Beautiful, man. That was probably still in danger here. Because, like, that was only a 2-for-1 overall. Also going down to 9. Well, End the Festivities is a card that is played every now and then, so that wiped the rats quite nicely. Ooh, opponent's just going for it, ditching what's on top of their build, too. Well, I'm going to keep the 5th mana for when the burn down the house comes time. Losing those rats was actually really brutal. We could trade out the Vengeance. It's just Gleeful Demolition for the turn, though, isn't it? Get more onto the board. Hopefully we don't have to use that Vampire's Vengeance. Because I wouldn't want to lose all of our 1/1s, because that's how we're going to try to push this excess damage through. Beldon is brutal, man. Oh, no. Chumping it's bad. Letting 3 through is really bad. Yeah, everything's bad here. Letting them see something off the top is horrible. And then also we're getting a lot less damage through. But, like, taking 3 when we're at 6 is probably equally as bad, right? So it really just comes down to... They find a squee off of that. Oh, no. Okay, pile on. Hey, right on time, dude. So we'll be able to double block the squee. Humano flips, though. We gotta be like really careful here. We're just gonna keep the pile on open. Right? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Vampire's Vengeance is open too for the turn. So we pile on the Feldon and then tap 4 for, or tap the last 3 for the Vengeance. We got to keep our creatures open here. See what the opponent ends up doing. Because we want to use Vampire's Vengeance once the Commando's actually flipped. And we want to wipe the squee off the board too. Which I can imagine that's what they end up doing for the turn. It is going to be that squee. Okay. And they can totally swing in first. So I guess we'll let them swing in. Because yeah, we're gonna be wiping that. Still sticking with that 1 mountain, huh? Luckily they don't have 2 for the Phoenix Chick, but if they did, the Vampire's Vengeance still would have cleaned it up regardless. Okay, pile on, and we want to make sure we tap down our creatures. So we still have the 3 open. Burn down the house. Barbed Servitor. Oh man, it just doesn't block well. I have to wipe this board again. I think I just like the burn down the house, and unfortunately Servitor not gonna do it for me. I think I just like the devils on the burn down the house a couple turns in a row. You know what I mean, guys? Vampire's Vengeance. That's pretty sick, dude. Instant speed is really, really sick there. They do have enough to bring the squee back, and they do have the 4th mana as well. So we want to make sure we keep, I guess, a couple devils, unfortunately, as blockers, because the squee's a problem, and they have so much here. Oh, and the festivities number 2, guys. Oh no. Well, hopefully that's it for the turn then. Hopefully that's it. Because we're at 5, man. It's gonna be a lightning strike. They're going all in, bro. Okay, Harvester, not terrible. It's probably just devils though, huh? They bring back squee. We're gonna need 2 devil blockers again. The End the Festivities is perfect against this build, man, because we have so many 1/1s spamming onto the board. Hopefully they don't have 3 of them, because at that point this could be just mechanized warfare red, which we actually don't get to see too often. Mechanized warfare was very much replaced by Godric. Found a land, and see, we kept those 2 devils back to block the squee beautifully here. But if they don't do something, then our devils are just going to keep like poking slowly too. So at this point, they're also just looking for burn. So we can quite successfully just like chump the squee, take the 1 down to 1, since like everything kills us anyways, right? If everything kills us anyways. No, we still want the squee off the board. We still, yeah. Yeah, this is good. This is fine. One of these has to poke the squee. Poke the face. What a match, huh? Just hanging on for dear life. Holy cow, dude. The 3rd burn down the house, man. Holy cow. But we still have to keep at least 2 back. But down to 6. Because the squee comes back, we have to make sure we block both of those. And the worst case scenario, regardless of what 1 drop they find off the top, right? Like if it's a play with fire, we die anyways. We can't like worry about removal for the double devil. Yeah, the 2 devils. Like keeping 3 back wouldn't do anything. Is what I'm getting at here, because we're so low on life. Actually, that being said, maybe I should have swung with 3 of these then, get them down to 5. Because then we chump the squee. No, but then and end the festivities would do it. Because we only have 4 devils, so we wouldn't clean that up anyway. Yeah, end the festivities. 1 damage to each opponent and each creature. So yeah, keeping 2 back still makes sense. Opponent has a decision to make, apparently, or they drew land and they're sad about it. That's a possibility as well. I could only imagine it's a decision. It's like, well, if I do squee again, they have the perfect blocks again. We take out the squee, we poke their face down to 5, and then at that point we still have 2 devils. I mean, it's still anyone's game then, because mono red still knows how to top deck the last bit of damage through, so it's also possible that they froze, as I've been freezing recently. They decide on the squee. I think that is the correct decision depending on what they ended up drawing here. And again, we want to make sure we block both of these. Target squee. Target face. Well, 4th play with fire, or burn down the house would do it for us, huh? Wow, Crucible. Crucible. Wow. If only we had a way to have one of our devils die, huh? 1, 2, 3. How risky do we go? I think we end up swinging with devils and saving Crucible for their turn. How do you get? No. How risky do we go? I say all the risky. At any point, they can top deck a play with fire, man. So what we want to do here is swing for 3, get them down to 2, and then if it's going to be like an, like, they want to wipe our board of 1/1s again, then the devils will get the last 2 through. Witchstalker Frenzy. Oh, they get rid of the last blocker. Guys, it's now a top deck war for the opponent. Can they find it? Let's see it, opponent. Let's see it, buddy. We also have our blood token open. What a match. This was a good one, dude. GG, opponent. Let's go, guys. Taking out mono red. Man, I thought for sure that those end the festivities were going to do us in. Like, seriously. Seriously, man. Also kind of feels a little underplayed in red, but red is pretty stacked. The triple burn down the house was huge for us. We drew so well at the end there, and like the pylon actually making sure we had those on top too. That was pretty wild. All right, let's get right into the next one, man. I think overall, if we were up against a red deck and that particular red deck doesn't end the festivities, I think that actually would have been heavily leaning towards us for a lot of that game. You know what I mean? Also, early on there, I really should have saved that Epicure to chump that Godric too. that one swing was so risky because we ended up taking that extra 3 that we could have ended up blocking instead. Now we go first here. I actually, this hand is much worse than the first hand, right? But I think we keep it because we could always trade out with Blood Token too if we're desperate, but also just like having these early board wipes with Brotherhood's End and stuff is really good too until we figure out what we're up against. Yeah, so Epicure, Blood Token, and if we end up flooding to, like, Blood Tokens just do so much all the time, huh? We'll go ahead and pause the recording until the opponent shows up. Okay, the opponent has arrived. They also dropped the mulligan too, down to 6. That Epicure down. Probably going to save that lay down arms for something a little bit more important, right? Well, I might as well attempt the swing here. 1 through, easy peasy. Blood Token open, just like we don't know what we're up against yet, but it sure feels like mono white mid-range, right? Based on the avatar and the feeling that plane's left. So we'll see. Opponent missed their second land. No, I'm just teasing. I suppose I shall continuously pause this match just to try to save on time for us. Try to pack as much in as possible. Oh, there we go. Ambitious Farmhand. It is, in fact, going to be mono white mid-range. Okay. Mono white mid-range is probably going to be a problem for this deck, I would say. I feel like they would be favored overall. We could, for now, keep everything, I think. I don't think using the Blood Token is going to do anything for us. Yeah, as far as keepable hands go, we probably ended up keeping a pretty risky one, where this would be much better against some aggro. A great trade for them, too. Just going to, like, awkwardly do nothing for the turn? Yeah, maybe. The wedding announcement. I guess the board wipes might actually end up being pretty good here, huh? I'm tempted to trade out, but I do like the utility lands too, so yeah, just awkwardly did nothing for our couple rounds. Gleeful Demolition. Hey, see, that would have been much better last turn. But now if we get like Brotherhood's End restock with Demolition. Their wedding announcement just keeps on generating anyways, so I don't mind the Abandoned Mire, but I'm actually just going to play it like that and potentially have Crucible of Defiance open. Really, really awkward hand here, man, because even if we use Crucible, then we won't have 5 for the Burn Down the House Devils too. So maybe it is Gleeful Demolition for the turn, but we're planning on wiping the board soon enough anyways. Okay. Okay, Witchstalker Frenzy open. Our hand is heavily designed to take care of some aggro right now. So it's super awkward not doing anything. They go for that swing. All right. I guess I will end up blocking the farmhand and taking the 1. And that Frenzy probably has a much better target at some point. Yeah, I don't know. So they're going to be generating the 1/1 off the announcement. No. They swung with 2. They get the draw off the announcement. Okay. By turn, another turn of not doing anything. Maybe our patience will end up paying off, though. Right. Cliffs is unfortunately tapped, so no burn down the House Devils for now. Opponent missed their 4th mana, right? Alright, let's just like Gleeful Demolition. Maybe this was a mulligan hand, guys, but also like at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know. Like we didn't know we were up against mid-range, you know what I mean? So that's a 3/4, so Brotherhood's End won't hit that. Now they're 2/2s as well. So that's going to be a 3/5. So Burn Down the House is going to be able to wipe the Restoration away. So let's go Transmogrant Crown, see if they trade into a Goblin. Right? Because that could be good. A trade into this would mean a draw, is what I'm getting at here. And then we'll keep a couple Trump blockers back too. And if they take the 3, that's good too. Yeah, down to 15. Good draw now. That would have been really good early on, huh? To be able to just keep swinging on through. I don't want to play the Crucible as a 6th mana. Although, yeah, no. Yeah, some awkward turns here for sure. Also, the opponent is just like here now. So I wonder if at the beginning of the game, they were busy doing something else for a second. Because they have officially like just arrived to this match, playing it all out. Another wedding announcement. They don't end up swinging. Epicure. Okay. I mean, I guess we swing with our 3/1 Goblin, see what we draw. Or they take 3. They do end up trading this time. So see what we draw. Ooh. There we go, man. There's our Barbed Servitor. That's probably worthwhile. Now, it can't block. We do have to be careful there. Indestructible's huge, but like Sunfall does exist. We could play Epicure as another blocker, or we can equip that crown. We can equip the crown next turn, but I'd like to actually play Burn Down the House too. Or we can play Crucible for our red mana for Epicure and just do both. Instead of keeping Crucible back awkwardly as a utility piece, right? Instead of equipping the Servitor, I'm going to equip it to something that can potentially block and die and restock our hand further too. And they do have 5 planes now, so they are finding their planes. After, I'm pretty sure they missed their 4th for like a turn or 2. And now they're finding it. Abandoned Mire. Bro, this is Orzhov. What? What? Eternal Wanderer, bro.
I've made it just in time. My blade has no...
Well, that's a way to get around the Servitor. The good news, burn down the house, right? That's the good news. But like, that's rough business, dude. You get that down and you're like, oh man, Indestructible protects against so much. Not a mass sacrifice though. Okay, so Sulfurous Springs, totally fine to get down here, right? We want a draw off the Goblin potentially. We block there quite effectively. They might let this hit their face. My apologies, opponent, for taking so long, buddy. They might let this hit. They do not. So Brotherhood's End actually will take care of everything here. And we get a draw. Brotherhood's End hits Planeswalkers, tease the thing. Gleeful Demolition. Oh my. Hello there, buddy. All right. Very nice hit. And then Gleeful Demolition onto the blood token. Restock. This is actually really sick, dude. Holy cow. And this crown's doing so much for it. Maybe we need to talk about a couple crowns. Final thoughts? Maybe we go up 2 crowns? Maybe. Sarah Paragon. Oh, that's really good for them, isn't it? Yeah, Burn Down the House will still do it. No, it won't. Yes, it will. No, it won't. Wedding announcement flips. Crap. Sarah Paragon's going to have 6 toughness. Tangled Colony. So Witchstalker Frenzy. And then burn down the house? That's really bad, isn't it? Maybe we go wide. We go for like the wide swing and see what happens. Like Tangled Colony isn't terrible. Wide swing. The double festivity is really rough. So if we drop Devil's Full Swing, Witchstalker Frenzy will be 1 mana. We should be able to pick apart that Sarah Paragon depending on where they block, though. That's the problem. Like if they end up letting the Devils just... If they end up letting the Devils through, we could replace where the crown goes, but I think this is fine because I want to be able to play the Tangled Colony this turn as well. Come on, Sarah. Yes, yes. Sarah Paragon has, in fact, blocked here. So we go 5 damage with Witchstalker Frenzy. 3 gets through there. We get a draw, which I suppose we should have drawn before the Witchstalker Frenzy, right? But this is also fine. Barbed Servitor number 2. I didn't get as excited this time because I'm pretty sure this deck would be able to deal with it quite nicely. And like lay down Arms Exiles too, and they definitely have enough planes to take care of that. Another wedding announcement, man. Brutal, brutal stuff. Maybe we attach Tangled Colony with the crown. That wouldn't be terrible, but like these already trade. So like we just go on to one of the 1/1s here. Keep some blockers back if they block. They let 6 through and they block here. That's really good for us, I would say, right? All right, full swing. They do have 3 open too. It could be some spot removal. Oh, or more blockers too. Very nice opponent. That 4/4 is going to get killed. We're going to generate 3 rats. We draw a card. We will poke the 4/4. We will poke face. 3 rats. How cool is this, man? Like, we're totally doing the thing right now. I'm afraid to play everything out, but also, if we don't, yeah, I think it just continues to lean towards them if we don't get everything onto this board. I'm going to keep the Sulfurous Springs to trade out to the Blood token for the turn, so. Or should I equip the Crown? Trade out next turn? That's probably better, just in case they do end up wiping this board for some reason. And I will put it onto the... Bloodtithe Harvester. They dropped the nice. Hey, thank you, opponent. Oh, no, that's why they dropped the nice. Oh, no, guys. All right, well, first we trade out. We see what we see. This crown keeping us in this game. This crown being an absolute MVP right now. Because the card draw has been tremendous for us. I think it really is saying something about the build that we're still kind of in this. Like that Sunfall, I don't think completely did us in. Wow. Burn down the house, dude. They can power that up. Well, I mean, we could wait till next turn to play this, but what if we see more power off the top too? So like we just play the Devils. Like what ended up being an incredibly awkward start. We still have 2 great blockers, so we go no attacks this turn. See if they power up that 7/7. They do. Yeah, the Sunfall, like we knew it was coming eventually, but at what point did we want to not risk it? You know what I mean? They have 4 open here still. So taking the 12 is probably the best bet. So that's what I'm going to do. Down to 7. Because we could, I think we could get there. We have 4 on the board. Oh no, they untap, they untap. Wow, Brotherhood's End. Wow, dude. We really could have gotten there. Yeah, the Virtue of Loyalty untapping them, though. Well, we know that they're probably going to block whatever we put this on, so I suppose a Devil. And then they still have 4 open for, like, a Wandering Emperor, too. And so instead of a swing, because if they Wandering Emperor the crown, then we don't get the draw. No, this is fine. This is fine. It's like I said, like, when do we want to not play around the ghosts that could be in the opponent's hand? It is going to be a Wandering Emperor, unfortunately, guys. So we don't get the draw on the 3-3, and they get the perfect block on the other 2. And they gained the 2 anyways, so... luckily, we do get to poke the Wandering Emperor here. And we do get to poke the 5-4. Brotherhood's End will take care of that then. And then before that, we want to equip the crown. There's a lot going on here, dude. There really is. Like, oh, Brotherhood's End was taking care of the Emperor anyways. We could have hit the, we could have hit their face. Either way, it is the opponents, unfortunately, guys. Too much value off of the Sunfall. If I played around it, would we have had a chance? Maybe. Maybe. Good game, opponent. They go ahead, play the Wandering Emperor, just for fun. Maybe they have a quest to play white cards, right? 16-minute game. Oh my goodness, dude. That felt pretty good, didn't it? I don't know about you guys, but yeah, a really awkward start. And then we started like getting the ball rolling. And the awkward start was mainly due just to the fact that our opponent was playing mono white mid-range. And the problem was we knew that. And so it was like, well, our board wipes are going to be much better later on. So I guess we just do nothing because most of our hand was board wipes and removal at that point. Then we got that ball rolling. We saw that crown, dude. That crown was wild there. Holy cow, dude. Also, at the beginning, I was worried I was going to have to pause that game a lot more because I was paused for a while waiting for the mulligan, and then there was some extra pauses after that moment too. So I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to sit here and continuously pause this match, huh? Because every now and then that happens. But luckily, the opponent arrived and played a really good game. We go first, 25 total mana. City on Fire would have been pretty good last game. I think we would have been able to successfully play it early on there. I'm going to drop the mulligan. I'm not feeling this one. Okay, this is a little better, I'd say. Yeah, the Tangled Colony couldn't block either. Oh, what do I ditch, though? We should keep the land, right? Oh, no. Okay, the Burn Down the House. But, like, Burn Down the House is so good, I'd play 8 of them if I could. Like, for real, dude. Like, ditching Burn Down the House is so bad. But, like, early board wipes might be better, especially when there's no guarantee that we actually get the mana when we need it to. So this time, do we end up saving the Epicure as a trump blocker? No, I'm gonna risk that swing again. Get the Harvester down. Because Harvester's like a good blocker too, I suppose, and trades into more. Also, having a chump blocker, like after the board wipe, will be good too, because these are both vampires, so they're not going to get picked up there. Looks like we want to save the Vampire's Vengeance for when these Commandos both flip anyways. Ill-Tempered Loner's pretty good against mono red. I wonder if we can keep up pace here. They have 4 on the board next turn down to 12. I'm going to keep the Epicure back. Swing with Harvester. I think Harvester is going to take some burn damage off of our face next turn. Because with 2 blood tokens on the board, it can pick up a Godric, and I don't think they want that to happen. Oh, Etching also kind of cancels out the Crown's ability too, because it specifically says creature dies. Then, of course, well, that's only if a creature dealt damage this way by a source they control, so... Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down to 11. We could get the chump now. They flip Commando next turn. We have instant speed Vengeance. I'll get the chump, I suppose. Every 2 damage matters, and now they have the Urabrask's Forge generating for them every turn. Urabrask's Forge, we're actually going to be on a timer here. Uh-oh. No 4th mana. Commando flips. This generates Vengeance at instant speed. Without a 4th mana, we can't equip the crown this turn either. Okay, guys. It's just Vampire's Vengeance. And hopefully it's not Godric this turn too. Right? Commando flips. Dude, Vampire's Vengeance has actually been really good against these mono red lists. Okay, 4th mana from the opponent's going to be a Foundry. It's too bad they're not powering up Foundry this turn. That would be a wild hit for us. Forge? Is it going to be nothing? Oh no, guys. We definitely want to hit more with this Vengeance. Well, at that point, we got to expect Monstrous Rage protecting their creatures here. Lightning Strike onto the Harvester. So it did protect our face a little bit, guys. It totally did. Monstrous Rage. Monstrous Rage onto, like, Phoenix Chick would be so good for them. Come on. Come on. Hit them all. Come on. Is it? It's a Monstrous Rage? They're looking at their hand. It is Monstrous Rage. Crap, guys. All right, down to 8. Forge producing for them every turn. Okay, there it is. There it is, guys. Whew. All right, get that Ill-Tempered Loner blocking that Forge, hitting that Phoenix Chick out of the air. Same concept, like if they go Lightning Strike or something onto the Loner, we get to take care of that Phoenix Chick. Lightning Strike. Well, I will gladly take care of that Phoenix Chick. But at that point, they wanted to swing with the Phoenix Chick first and then take care of the Loner if that was the plan. Well, with the Adversary and the 3-1 swinging through, I guess they didn't want the 3-1 to get taken out that way, but then Lightning Strike also could have hit our face too. That's actually pretty tough. I'm not 100% certain what they would have wanted to do there. This one is unfortunately going to be mono reds, guys. So let's trade out the Servitor, because once you get this down, it gets suspected, so it has menace and it can't block. Wow. What a hit, guys. Vampire's Vengeance number 2 might be enough to save us a turn. I don't know what we do after the fact, because like Urabrask's Forge, like we're going to need to see our artifact removal to take care of the Forge, but then we also have to, they do end up powering up the Foundry. Here comes the Forge. Dude, all right, let's just do, well, I guess we wait for them to swing, I suppose, right? Yeah, if they had the double mountains, this would also pick up the Phoenix Chick. Let's see what that top card on their deck was, guys, because it could be a Monstrous Rage. Don't do it, opponent. Don't do it. Oh my goodness, dude. I'll tell you what, that would have been a really good hit. At that point, with all these blood tokens, maybe we could have found our artifact removal and actually started to get back into this, man. Okay. Hear me out. We're 43 minutes in. 43 minutes in. I feel like the deck hasn't done the thing yet. We're going to try one more. Win or lose, totally fine. The deck has showcased itself well enough. We just haven't like gotten our main thing onto the board to actually do a bunch of damage. Most of the time, we're just on the run. Yeah, Gleeful Demolition in that last game. Taking out that Urabrask's Forge would have been pretty good. Totally fine hand, except we still don't have like the main build around in hand, but like this is fine. Haunted Ridge take less damage here. Hello, opponent. Okay, Warden of the Inner Sky. This could be a fun deck to board wipe, huh? Yeah, Warden of the Inner Sky can easily get above the Brotherhood's end range, though, depending on what they're planning on doing here. Wow, they just go for that reinforcements on their turn. I guess get the tap because activate only as sorcery, right? That does make sense then. Okay, unfortunately, we're going to lose that Bloodtithe Harvester right away because we should probably wipe this board before the Warden gets out of hand. Well, Frenzy's on the board. Okay. Hold on. Or Frenzy's in hand. I don't know what my brain was thinking there. I'm gonna wait, dude. I'm gonna swing and just get some chump blockers down. If they get Warden above the 3 for the Brotherhood's End, their other creatures very well might not get above that 3, and then eventually Witchstalker Frenzy takes out the Warden anyways, because they're still going to need a couple turns to get it above the 5 toughness. Epicure, nice, nice. Play some more creatures for me, opponent. Oh, that's not what I meant. I meant play some more creatures that I can actually hit with the Brotherhood's End. I'm sorry, can you take that back real quick? Oh, Inspector and Epicure, and they still have the 3 to tap. We have a good swing here, but we're in trouble. Pylon, nice. Okay, well. If we swing for 6 down to 11... Without like a burn down the house in hand, this is a little bit sketchy. But keeping Pylon open could help us surveil what we want to see. Pylon, take out... Like, I don't even want to hit the Warden because they've been tapping down their cards every turn with it. You know what I mean? I'd rather take out maybe Knight Errant or just keep it open in general. All right, let's do this, man. See, like, Witchstalker Frenzy down to 1. It's totally fine just to not. Totally fine. We could have kept a Goblin back, actually. And when they swing, Witchstalker down to 1 and have the Pylon. Oh, something to consider, guys. That would have been really good, actually. Because Pylon Convoke and then the Witchstalker Frenzy down to 1. Gleeful Demolition. All right, opponent. Dude, play that Inspector, too. Yeah, all right, dude. And then we'll see what they do with the swing and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be Pylon, Surveil, try to find... Okay. They get this into the air. It is a 4/5 Vigilance. So that's probably what we end up hitting here. So they go for the full swing. So we go Pylon onto the Warden. And see if we would have kept the 1 Goblin... It's end number 2. Brotherhood's end number 2 is a no-go, right? Wait, how easy do you guys think it'll be to restock their board? I think we send both of them, see what we see on top. Like, the land isn't terrible either. We're going to need the 5th eventually, but... Okay, Restless Vents. So... depending on where they block here. Yeah, if I would have kept 1 Goblin back, we could have had that 1 mana Frenzy onto this, and then we'd still be at 15 instead. Two go wide builds, huh? Full swing, see what they do. I think they end up blocking, unfortunately. Oh, they are going to take 2, though, luckily. So we take out Knight Errant, right? And then we wipe their board with Brotherhood's End. We get them down to 9. This is anyone's game, dude. Because we're losing everything here, too. Except they technically have a blood token and a clue open. Whereas we do not. We just have Restless Vents over here. Okay, Warden of the Inner Sky. Let's not forget, I did end up ditching the 2nd Brotherhood's End. So if they end up going super wide again, like, this match could 100% be my fault then. Like, if it comes down to that. Okay, we're going to keep the mountain to trade out to the vents. Power up this. swing down to 7. This does have Menace too. Burn down the house. Dude. Holy cow. I don't want to use Gleeful Demolition on their blood token, so we're just going to hold back. Burn down the house is good. Man, this is really anyone's game. War Leader's Call. Holy cow, dude. Holy cow. We're in trouble, man. So if we go burn down the house, they get the swing next turn 3-4 down to 5. We could potentially die. We could. Like, they have 3 cards in hand. They could play 2 Epicures. That's 4 damage while the War Leader's Call is on the board. So we're going to keep 1 back. Swing for 2 down to 5. And then burn down the house next turn. Should just get us there. Unless they end up winning right here, right now, which is 100% possible, I think. What did they call? They called Vampire on the Cavern. Mudane's Recruiter. Luckily, we kept the 1 back. Holy cow, dude. Luckily, they didn't play another 1-drop, too. Seriously. I'll tell you what, man. Totally chump. Totally chump that. Poke face, right? Down to 4. And burn down the house just being just disgusting. And a disgusting MVP. They need to somehow exile one of these devils, and I can't think of a way. I don't think there's a way for them to do that with a Cavern of Souls. Hey, good game, opponent. Absolutely, dude. Nice. All right. So the deck, like, okay, hold up. Let's get to the list here. That's good stuff, man. This was a really fun time. And the deck, yeah, wait, no, hold on. Let's bring up the deck. Getting ahead of myself here. Barbed Rakdos. There it is again. This was cool, man. This totally did a thing. The losses were like tough uphill battles, but like, wow. I'm always just like so impressed with Burn Down the House. Just like, it does so much all the time, and it's been doing so much for me since it came out. Like, how many years ago at this point? The Devils always help us get there, and then the 5 damage to everything, obviously, is just terrific, too. Didn't get to see City on Fire today, unfortunately, but I do think there were plenty of matches where we could have easily gotten City on Fire on the board. That being said, if you're looking for, like, more removal or something, you could totally drop one of these and go up some removal, but I still think that one of them at that point would still be worth it. We just didn't get to test it today is the thing. Tangled Colony seemed pretty cool. Like, yeah, we were really on that struggle bus with mono white mid-range there. So like, it didn't feel like it ended up doing as much as we would have hoped, but at the same time, just like the way it restocks your board with rats after you end up wiping the opponent's board too is just kind of wild. Triple Gleeful Demolition instead of 4 is definitely what you want to go for here. If anything, I could actually see dropping down to 2 of these, but I don't think I would. There are still a lot of great artifacts that we wouldn't mind hitting on the opponent side of the board too, so it's going to come in handy, I would say, relatively often. Witchstalker Frenzy was totally fine as our 5 damage instant speed spell of choice, right? I think more often than not, it will just be 1, especially with the opponents swinging with so many creatures anymore too, so pretty good stuff, man. Ill-Tempered Loner being able to block is probably much better than the Barbed Servitor in a lot of cases. That being said, like, it can't restock our hand the way the Servitor does. So what I would end up doing here probably is, like, we have that 3-to-1 ratio. I think just like just 2 of these, right? Yeah, I think so. I think I would drop a Barbed Servitor and go up an Ill-Tempered Loner just because, like, blocking is so important. You know what I mean? But again, Loner can't restock our hand like Servitor does, and yeah, that's tough because this also has that Indestructible, which of course works with that Gleeful Demolition, which how often is that going to happen? It didn't happen in any of those games, right? So it really depends. I suppose it depends on what you're seeing in the meta too. We went up against some, like, super tough builds there. And the last game, the opponent's Boros deck looked awesome, huh? rocking that Warden. That was pretty sick. Triple Brotherhood's End was good. Vampire's Vengeance, kind of a standout against mono red, huh? Just that instant speed. They're flipping the commandos. They're getting all this other stuff down with haste. And then you just like instant speed, wipe your board. Unfortunately, in that one loss against mono red, they ended up having that monstrous rage. But I'll tell you what, man, they're not always going to have monstrous rage, even though it feels like it sometimes. They're not always going to have it. So yeah, 2 damage to everything. Maybe we drop like one of these, go up like an instant speed burn spell too, because I could see this going down to 2. All these extra board wipes, see, we didn't really get to do the thing where we had Servitor or Ill-Tempered Loner on the board, and then we're just like hitting the opponent's face really hard. But I do think the deck is more than capable and more than set up enough to actually be able to do that thing and survive long enough to do that thing too. So 25 land felt fine. Maybe we go up to 26 because we did miss a couple land drops here and there that we really wouldn't have. I mean, it wasn't bad, was it? Because like we have the blood tokens to trade out if we're really desperate looking for like a 5th mana or something. And then overall, once we do find the mana, then we find a lot of mana too. So 25 was probably fine. Okay. Oh, Transmogrant Crown. Dude, so much to say about this build. What a little freaking MVP. Huh? Maybe we want 2 of these too. So instead of more removal, maybe you drop that city on fire for a 2nd Transmogrant Crown, because this card was actually really good. Does actually require you having something on the board though, which against mono red or something could prove to be an issue, because like you're taking your turn 2 to play an equipment and then they're just running you over on their turn 3. Maybe the one of is the best. Oh, I don't know. Guys, let me know in the comments. What would you add or take out? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link if you're interested in supporting the channel that way, or if you're interested in just getting more featured suggestions. Did I go over that this was a comment suggestion, guys? It was actually a multi-comment suggestion. A lot of people requested Barbed Servitor, so I forget if I went over that playing with Barbed Servitor was requested a lot. Well, now I am. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the suggestions. All right, guys. Hey, I will see you in the next video.